Hey guys, I just finished watching LouisLeVau's video, which was a response to Brittany Valenti's video on lollies and Lolicon. So then I had to watch her video. And so I watched her video, then I bounced back to his and I finished that up because it was an interesting take on both sides. And I just needed to clear the air as to any question as to my stance on it. I fucking hate lolly. I hate Lolicon. I think it's absolutely degenerate. It's absolute shit. And I honestly don't care if you want to call it art. To me, that's not an argument. That's not good enough. It is still incredibly gross. And the reason, and that is not a legal argument. Let's be perfectly clear. That is not a sound legal argument. I just want to put that out there before anything else. And here's why. Here's why I'm very radically opposed to things like Lolicon, despite the apparent First Amendment protections that LouisLeVau seems to think that it has, despite the fact that anyone who's been caught with lolly pornography or lolly content, we'll call it that, just to give them some ambiguity, some wiggle room there. Lolly content. The problem that I have with it is we are learning more and more about human sexuality as time progresses, and we are slowly beginning to understand the consequences of sexual content being available for mass consumption. And it's only been available for mass consumption for the past decade or so. It has not been incredibly long in which we've had this on-demand pornographic content available to us, and the consequences thereof have not been addressed or taken into consideration. And that's not because the science isn't out or that it's not being. It's a matter of time. The generational effect that this will have on our people and our nations and our societies will not reveal itself until it's far fucking too late. But based on what we know now, what is most important to realize is that, first of all, the largest sexual organ in your body isn't your manhood. Sorry guys, that is not the largest sex organ that you possess. The largest sex organ that you possess is, in fact, your brain. It is your mind. And with that in mind, with that as the basic premises of Lolicon, good, bad, moral, immoral, Lolicon essentially trains the consumer of that content to sexualize an object that it knows depicts a child. Let me say that again. Your brain, you are being trained, if you choose to enjoy Lolicon, you're essentially training yourself to be a pedophile. That is indisputable. Your brain is interpreting an object that it knows depicts a child, and you are associating that image, which again, your brain is readily to admit is a child, and it is being sexualized. And those who enjoy Lolicon are pleasuring themselves to an image that their brain knows is a child. That's what makes it child porn. That just on a very basic, raw biological reality, that if your brain believes this is a child, you are consuming content in which you are receiving pleasure from the image of a child. And you have to understand, we've all gone, we're the generation of the Matrix. We understand at a basic level that reality is perception. And it doesn't matter whether you're the brain in the vat where the image is where all of reality is just, this holographic construct, and you're just, sitting in the in a sack full of fluid being kept alive as a battery per the Matrix, and the Matrix is creating reality around you so that you don't put up much of a struggle. You have to understand, your brain is it's not something you fuck with. It's something that you have to keep in check what comes in, because whatever goes into your brain is something that will affect you individually. The things that you choose to accept as real affect you individually. Now, that can go into a whole other rabbit hole that seeps into epistemology and questions of free will and all that wonderful all those wonderful topics. But the fact is, Lolicon is child porn, because that's what your brain tells you it is, because that is what you perceive it as. You know that this is depicting a child, and if you choose to arouse yourself with this content, you're arousing yourself to what you know as a child. Therefore, when I must step back and realize, okay, so someone who enjoys Lolicon is sexualizing a child and justifying it because it's not a flesh and blood child, but it's still something that your brain recognizes as a child. And I have to sit back as a conservative and ask myself, well, with the knowledge that I know, good, bad, I'm going to lean to the bad. I'm going to say that accepting Lolicon in society at large is going to be a net negative. And as Venti reveals at the very end of her video, if you haven't watched it, please do so. She posts screenshots of people who have come to her thanking her for exposing the Lolicon phenomenon, because they essentially revealed that Lolicon was used as a grooming tool for their victimization. And that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me at all. You know what else doesn't surprise me? It doesn't surprise me that, one of the most popular categories on Pornhub right now that are currently trending is incest porn, except it's it's incest with like the stepmom, the stepdad, the stepsister. It's all incest under the step category. The excuse of, it's a step sibling or a step relative. Well, since that phenomenon has taken hold, I have noticed on my news feed there are stories of incest and child abuse in families that have been, it's increasing. I didn't see much of it before, and I'm seeing a lot more of it now. That's not a coincidence. I cannot believe that is a coincidence. I thoroughly believe that is that there is a cause and effect there that we will not explore as a society, because quite honestly, it would scare the fuck out of us to believe, just on a whim, if there was in fact a link between your porn consumption and other aspects of your life. Now, there's another reality about humans that we must take into account. Once a mind is warped, once a mind is molded in a certain fashion, it will never return to its original dimensions. Ever. Like, you can't just go back. There's no like reverse therapy for really anything that you put your brain through, for any of the beliefs or any of the information that you expose your mind to. And I just have to emphasize again, from what we know about sexuality thus far, your largest sex organ is your brain. And that's something that that is not even remotely discussed when it comes to the Lolicon question. And I have to disavow it. I have to say that it is undoubtedly a net positive for society, regardless of any alleged legal validation it might receive in the future. Now, it's not a coincidence to me that anyone who's been caught with lolly content, I can't forget to give them that benefit of the doubt. People caught with lolly content have taken plea bargains for child pornography. Might it be, just follow me, could it possibly be because they had other content or other charges or other experiences or other circumstances, we'll call it, where they either participated in another event or had other grosser content, and the Lolicon was just happened to be lumped in with it? Who knows? All I'm saying is they pled guilty for a reason, and it's not just because, you caught me with some lolly porn or some lolly content. People plead guilty. They don't just plead guilty to take the lesser, to take the plea deal. Eventually, someone's going to have to fight back. The reason they haven't fought back yet is maybe because they're actually guilty of grosser shit. We do have to take that into consideration. There is a reason why, despite lolly content being produced and sold and distributed, why these particular individuals felt like they did something wrong. And I might have to know more about the cases that LouisLeVau is citing, but if I had to guess, that's where my gut's telling me that would probably go. So there probably is a link between those who consume lolly content and those who groom and abuse children. That would not surprise me, and it shouldn't be surprising, because, well, when that's what you train your brain to be pleasured by or receive pleasure from, what the fuck else did you think was going to happen? And so, as far as the lolly question is concerned, Carnal hates Lolicon.